Right, so we'll be moving forward with tutorial 11 today. And last time we discussed section 7.1. We basically learned what a sample mean is. And this time we'll be discussing section 7.2, which basically tells us what the deviation of a random variable is from the expected value, right? So there are two main theorems for this, which are the Markov inequality and the Chebyshev inequality. We'll first be discussing them and then we'll be going through the following questions, which are quiz 7.2, problem 7.2.1, and problem 7.2.4. Right, so let's start with the theorem 7.2, which is the Markov inequality. And it says that for a random variable x such that p of x less than 0 is equal to 0 and a constant c, so p of x less than equal to 0 basically means that x is a non-negative random variable. And so yeah, the theorem states that probability that x is greater than equal to c square is less than equal to e of x by c square. And so we can look at the proof for this. So basically the expected value of x can be given as integral x fx of x dx from 0 to infinity. And this can be split into two parts, which is first from 0 to c square and second part from c square to infinity. And this term will definitely be greater than, and like x equal to x fx of x dx integrated over 0 to c square plus integral x fx of x dx integrated from c square to infinity will definitely be greater than the second term itself, which is x fx of x dx integrated over c square to infinity. Now, since the lowest value x will assume in this integral is c square, this term will also be greater than if we just take out c square out of the integral and integrate fx of x dx from c square to infinity. Now we're able to do this since we're trying to find an upper bound, and basically the minimum value x assumes is c square, right? So what we have left is basically e of x is greater than equal to c square fx of x dx integrated over c square to infinity, which is nothing but the probability that x is greater than equal to c square. So we basically get the inequality that the theorem gives us, which is probability that x is greater than equal to c square is less than equal to e of x divided by c square. And yeah, one thing to keep in mind is that this is only valid for non-negative random variables. Right. So what follows the Markov inequality is basically the Chebyshev inequality, and what this states is that for an arbitrary random variable y and a constant c greater than 0, probability that mod of y minus mu y greater than equal to c is less than equal to variance of y divided by c square. Now, this looks pretty similar to Markov inequality. We just have to replace x, the random variable x, by the variable y minus mu y whole square. So, this basically becomes probability that y minus mu y whole square greater than c square, greater than equal to c square is less than equal to basically the expected value of y minus mu y whole square divided by c square. Now the expected value of y minus mu y whole square is nothing but variance of y. So, and the probability that y minus mu y whole square greater than equal to c square, if we basically take the square root on both sides, basically this will be the same as the probability that mod of y minus mu y is greater than equal to c. Now, Markov inequality was valid only for non-negative random variables. So x had to be non-negative. So what this means is that y minus mu y whole square has to be non-negative, and this will always be non-negative, right? So Markov was valid only for non-negative random variables, but Chebyshev is basically valid for all random variables. Right, so now let's start with the first question, which is quiz 7.2. And the question says, elevators arrive randomly at the ground floor of an office building. Because of a large crowd, a person will have to wait for time W in order to board the third arriving elevator. Let x1 denote the time in seconds until the first elevator arrives, and let xi denote the time between the arrival of elevator I minus 1 and I. Suppose x1, x2, x3 are independent uniform random variables distributed between 0 to 30, and we have to find the upper bounds to the probability W exceeds 75 seconds using the Markov inequality and the Chebyshev inequality. So basically, the person boards the third arriving elevator, and x1 is the arrival time of the first elevator. X2 is the time between the first and the second, and x3 is the time between the second and the third. So the total time the person has to wait can be described with the random variable w, which will be equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3, and this is in seconds, right? And we're given that each xi is a uniform random variable distributed between 0 to 30. So basically the mean of each xi is 15, and the variance of each xi is basically 30 by 12, which is equal to 75. And now since w is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3, the mean of w will simply, and each xi is independent, right? So the mean of w will simply be 3 times the mean of xi, and the variance of w will be simply 3 times the variance of xi. So we basically have E of W is equal to 45, and variance of W is equal to 75 into 3, which is equal to 225, right? And so what are we supposed to find? We're supposed to find the upper bounds to the probability that W exceeds 75 seconds. So we have to find probability that W is greater than or equal to 75 seconds, right? And we have to use the Markov and the Chebyshev inequality. Right. So in the first part, we have to use the Markov inequality. So yeah, this should firstly be P of W greater than or equal to 75 instead of just greater than. So P of W greater than or equal to 75 will be less than or equal to E of W by 75. Uh, as the Markov inequality says that P of X greater than C square is less than or equal to E of X over C square. Here C square is 75, right? So E of W as we evaluated was equal to 45. So this is basically equal to 45 over 75, which is equal to 3 over 5. Right, so for the second part, we have to find the probability that W is greater than or equal to 75 by using the Chebyshev inequality. Now, just to recap, what the Chebyshev inequality says is that the probability that mod of y minus mu y greater than or equal to c is less than or equal to variance of y over c square. And what we're supposed to find is the probability that w is greater than or equal to 75, right? So basically, let's convert it into the form of the left hand side for Chebyshev inequality. So the probability that w is greater than or equal to 75, subtracting E of W on both sides, we'll get the probability that W minus E of W is greater than or equal to 75 minus 45, which is equal to 30, right? So the probability that W is greater than or equal to 75 is the same as the probability that W minus E of W is greater than 30. Now this will be less than or equal to the probability that mod of W minus E of W is greater than 30. Now this is because if W minus E of W assumes a negative value, the probability that mod of W minus E of W, if we open this up, this will basically be the sum of the probability that W minus E of W is greater than 30 plus probability that W minus E of W is less than minus 30, right? So, and that will again be a non-zero term, right? Because it's the probability. So the probability that W minus E of W greater than 30 is less than or equal to the probability that mod of W minus E of W is greater than 30. Now this looks something like the LHS of Chebyshev, right? And basically this value will be less than or equal to variance of w by c square, which is 30 square, and this will be equal to 225 over 900, which is equal to 1 by 4. So whenever we have to find the probability of any variable uh, w greater than any value c, we'll first have to convert it to the form for evaluating the Chebyshev inequality. So I hope that's okay with everybody. Right, so let's start with the next problem, which is problem 7.2.1. And the question says the weight of a randomly chosen main black bear has expected value E of W equal to 500 pounds and standard deviation sigma W equal to 100 pounds. Use the Chebyshev inequality to upper bound the probability that the weight of a randomly chosen bear is more than 200 pounds from the expected value of the weight. Now, it is important to look at the statement carefully. So, reiterating, upper bound the probability that the weight of a randomly chosen bear is more than 200 pounds from the expected value of the weight. So, I want you all to take a moment to think that what is it exactly that we're trying to find. So once again, reiterating, upper bound the probability that the weight of a randomly chosen bear is more than 200 pounds from the expected value of the weight. We don't have to simply find the probability that W is greater than 200, but the probability that the weight is 200 pounds from the expected value of the weight, right? So what we have to find is the probability that mod of W minus E of W is greater than equal to 200. And this is mod because it says 200 pounds from the expected value of the weight. It could be plus 200 or it could be minus 200 from the expected value, right? So that would mean that the weight of the bear is 200 pounds away from the expected value of the weight. So it could be less than 300 pounds or it could be greater than 700 pounds, right? So yeah, so basically the rest of it is quite simple. It's simply just the formula. But the important part to understand here was the statement that the weight is 200 pounds away from the expected value of the weight. So yeah, but once again going through this, the probability that mod of W minus E of W is greater than equal to 200 is less than equal to variance of W by C square, and C here is 200, right? And we're given that the standard deviation is sigma W equal to 100 pounds. So what we have is variance of W by 200 square, which is 100 square over 200 square, which is equal to 1 by 4, which is equal to 0.25. Right, so let's move forward with the next question, which is problem 7.2.4. And the question says, in a game with two dice, the event snake eyes refers to both dice showing one spot. Let R denote the number of dice rolls needed to observe the third occurrence of snake eyes. Find A, the upper bound to P of R greater than equal to 250 based on the Markov inequality. B, the upper bound to P of R greater than equal to 250 based on the Chebyshev inequality. And C, the exact value of P of R greater than equal to 250. So first of all, the event snake eyes refers to the occurrence of 1 comma 1 on 2 dice, right? And the probability of occurrence of that will be 1 over 36. And secondly, let R denote the number of dice rolls needed to observe the third occurrence of snake eyes. So basically, in R minus 1 dice rolls, there would have been 2 occurrences of snake eyes, and on the Rth throw, there would have been another or the third occurrence of snake eyes, right? So in that way, basically, R would denote the dice rolls needed to observe the 3 occurrences of snake eyes, right? So the probability distribution for that would be the Pascal distribution, right? Where basically the probability that capital R is equal to small r will be P into R minus 1 C2 into P raised to the power 2 into 1 minus P raised to the power R minus 3, right? So that is the Pascal PMF, where K is equal to 3 and the probability P is equal to 1 over 36. And we also know what the expectation and variance of the Pascal PMF are, right? So basically E of X is equal to, or E of R is equal to K over P, and variance of r is equal to k into 1 minus p over p square. So evaluating the values of these, what we get is that E of r is equal to 3 over p and p is equal to 1 over 36. So this turns out to be 108, and variance of r is equal to 3 into 1 minus p over p square, which turns out to be equal to 3780. Right. So we've discussed what the probability distribution of R would look like. So now what are we expected to find? So for A, we have to find the upper bound to P of R greater than equal to 250 based on the Markov inequality, right? And for B, the upper bound to P of R greater than equal to 250 based on the Chebyshev inequality. And for C, we have to find the exact value of P of R greater than equal to 250, right? So for A part, it's pretty straightforward. P of R greater than equal to C square is less than equal to E of R over C square is the Markov inequality. So we simply have to replace the values, and P of R greater than equal to 250 would be less than or equal to E of R over 250, which is equal to 108 over 250, which turns out to be equal to 0.432. And to basically convert those to Chebyshev inequality, we have to subtract the mean from both sides and take the mod. So basically, P of R greater than equal to 250 will be the same as what we get by subtracting the mean of R from both sides, right? So P of R minus 108 greater than equal to 250 minus 108, which is equal to P of R minus 108 greater than equal to 142, and this will be less than or equal to the probability that mod of r minus 108 is greater than equal to 142, which basically looks like the LHS of Chebyshev inequality now, and this will be less than equal to variance of r over c square, which is 142 square, and this turns out to be equal to 0.1875. So now we've basically found what the upper bound to P of R greater than equal to 250 is based on the Markov and Chebyshev inequalities. And for C, we have to find the actual probability that R is greater than equal to 250. So there is no easy way to basically calculate the sum of the Pascal PMF. So basically, this is just this has been calculated on using MATLAB, and this is just to show that the value comes out to be equal to the actual value of P of R greater than equal to 250 comes out to be equal to 0.0299. So while both the values obtained by Markov and Chebyshev, by Markov we obtained the value 0.432 and by Chebyshev we obtained the value 0.1875. So while both these values are upper bounds to the actual value, which is equal to 0.0299, but they're not actually very good estimates. So both of these actually just provide upper bounds, and Chebyshev seems to be a tighter upper bound, but they're not really good estimates.